the very first batches was way around 2019, right? And the agenda was bridging the gap. Now, what is this bridging the gap? So our co-founders, Anshuman sir and Abhimanyu sir, they observed something interesting in Indian colleges back in 2019. I mean, they observed it way back in 2016 itself, that uh, the students, especially who are from Tier 2 or Tier 3 colleges, right, or Tier 4 and 5, as many types as they are, that despite them being good students, when I say good, like actually good with logic, uh, good percentages, good, and despite them being good, they're coming out to search for jobs and they're actually failing at their interviews. And they realize, yes, there is something knowledge gap which is happening from what is being taught and what is being asked. So they realized, okay, let us be that bridge and let us cover that bridge. And they started this journey. And that was the initial part of the journey as a student. So I got placed in Amazon, and then I worked for a few months, and then early in the morning 4 a.m. I actually saw a place a notification link from Scalar. We are looking to hire instructors, young instructors, to teach for college students. I was like, "Arey, I'm still young, so let me apply." I applied, and then I joined. So the reason why I applied was obviously Scalars. The thing which they want to do is phenomenal. Most importantly, I myself personally I like teaching. I like sitting with the students. There can be 100 different type of things a person can do. As a teacher, you can do all those things. I always want to sing. I'll sing in the class. I want to do some kind of stand-up comedy. I'll do with my students. I want to do some kind of comments. I'll do in my class. So all these kind of things which I want to, as a teacher, I can. So it gives me that advantage, and I like interacting with students. So that's why initially I applied as an instructor. Luckily, by God's grace, I got the job. Now, obviously, you can ask me, well, what made me stay in Scalar? Although initially it was purely because of my love for teaching, uh, to the later stages, it is purely because of the fact that when I personally, when one of my students clear the bridge between we teach something, they go to interviews and they clear the interviews because of what we teach. And then they come back to us and tell, Ki, sir, this is being taught and we cleared. For me, that is hype. The entire day I can go by just with that message. And purely with those hype moments, I like it. This is pure hype level of dopamine I can get. And you can say I got addicted to that dopamine, and then I continued as a teaching. So that has been my journey over the last few years.
Thanks, SS. No, that is a beautiful explanation. And
Just if someone is worrying, I'm still not a drug addict. It's just a joke, right? Usually I am filled with sarcasm, but no one gets my sarcasm. I'm sorry. Continue.
no. It's all in good taste, but now people are seeking that. But yes, that was a beautiful twist as well. But yes, ladies and gents, this was more or less an introduction, so that you also have some connect with SS and understand how we'll proceed ahead. But just for context, again, ladies and gents, I'll just wanted to, Pradeep has asked, I hope in the 1 hour we get enough information. So Pradeep, and for others, who have similar questions like, right, I'll just reiterate what segments we'll be going through and how you can expect the next 1 hour or so to look like. So we'll be covering things like, what is behavioral round and why is it asked. We'll then successively move on to, are there any right answers or wrong answers to have during those rounds? How to go about that? In interviews, what are the most frequently asked questions that you can expect? Things like SWOT analysis, your self perspective, your, let's say, your reflection of your journey, things like that. If you have communication skill issues, or if you're jittery and nervous, how do you tackle that? Things like that. So a very holistic session with respect to all tips that you can expect, so that you ace those rounds going ahead. So if that suits each and every one of you, can I get a yes in the thumbs up option? Yes, can I get even? And if you have something else, and if you think that you're not covering what I want, there is obviously a questions tab. You can post your questions over there, and SS and I will keep on taking your questions if those are the most upvoted ones. Yes, so more than 30 yeses already, which let's begin in ahead. So SS, I just wanted to understand from you, for better prospects and ideas, what actually is behavioral interviewing?
All right. So let me start off with a counter question to all of you guys, right? So first things first, everyone. When you go to a company, right? You'll have multiple interviews. My doubt is only tech interview. Is that sufficient? Is just tech interview? Is that enough? Reply me with yes or no. Everyone participate. This is purely on participation. Interact with me. Do all kinds of questions. Do ask them to participate. Yes, no, yes, no. Right. Everyone, here comes the thing. See, it's not just about your technical skills, right? There's a reason for that. Say you're hired, okay? Now, when you're hired, do you work completely alone? Do you single handedly build everything from the scratch, or you go and work with a team? What do you do? No matter how big a role it is, at the end of the day, it is about you going and working maybe under a team or managing a team or answering to a bigger team. At the end of the day, it's a team. It's not you, it's a team, right? So the reason why these rounds are asked is ki, how well can you gel with the team? How well can you go and work with the team without having any issues to anyone? So that is a major reason. So that for that purely because of that reason, even the questions in the behavioral round, how many of you observed they are mostly personal questions? Ki, tell me about yourself, tell me about your past experience, your strengths, your weaknesses, something like that. Yes. They, and also where do you see yourself in the next few years? Currently, what is it you're working on? Things like that. So have you ever observed that the behavioral questions are mostly around your past, right? Revolving complete past, like 2 3 years past, and your current present. The reason why they ask questions which are past and present is based on that the interviewer will make an assumption about you, about your future. It of course it won't be an exact replicate future. They will get an assumption ki, okay, this is how this guy has been and this is how this person is now, so maybe this is how the person will be in the future, right? Based on that estimate, they will cross check with their own team ki, if this guy, if you onboard this person, will they gel well with the company philosophy, company policies? Yes. Okay. Okay, no, maybe I have to rethink about this person. So that's the reason why this behavioral rounds are conducted, Mihil bhai. I hope everyone that part is clear. Ki why? First, the highlight part, why this is answered, why this is what they estimate. I'll come to that step by step. We have 4 segments. We have everything, everyone. Don't worry, all your doubts will be clarified. Please, Mihil bhai, continue.
Perfect, perfect. So yes, as as mentioned by SS, please keep on clicking on yes whenever you agree with him, and click on no also if you're not agreeing with him. We want to understand if if you're enjoying and being a part of the conversation. You all are as much as stakeholders as we are in this. Again, which brings me to my next question for you. Ideally, there are people from different walks of life with a lot of pools of experiences. Someone might be a fresher vis-a-vis someone who has 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience. If someone is sitting for a behavioral round interview, will the questions be same to both A and B?
Right. Fair enough. That's a fair question. So, how many of you are completely beginners, noobs, like 2 years of experience or 0 years of experience? Nice. Couple of you are fantastic. Most of you are freshers. Fantastic. Right. So, everyone think it in this manner. So, first of all, in behavioral rounds, there are two kinds of questions. You will have your personal questions. With personal questions, you'll also have some situational questions. Now, first, let me talk about personal questions. In generally, one second, there's a background noise. Just give me one.
Nitin, are you writing that you know with respect to behavioral interviews or just with tech roles?
Sorry, Milbhai. There's some background noise. Right. As I was talking about, everyone in in these behavioral rounds, you'll have two kind of questions. First is your personal questions. Next is situational questions. We'll come to both of them. Now, when it comes to personal questions, no matter what experience you have, right, the questions are generally same. Say for example, I'll ask you a simple question. Ki, talk us about your past achievements, right? Now, or tell me about yourself. These are the some personal questions which will remain same irrespective of experience. Now, the trick here is the answer will have to change based on your experience. Say, for example, there is a fresher who has 1 year. He or she just finished graduation. Now, I ask the person, ki, okay, tell me your past achievements. I can say, right, I've actually did wonderful in my college. I'm like one of the toppers. I'm had my honors board, or I represented my college for badminton or sports, or at this particular level, I conducted a big seminar. I conducted hosted a workshop, things like that. All that is fine, right? Now, say for suppose there is this guy, there's this person with 5 years of experience, and the interviewer asks you, tell me about your past achievements. Now I start saying, ki, during my college days, I actually used to conduct these workshops. If I answer in this manner, what am I indirectly saying to the interviewer? That in the last 5 years of my work experience, I haven't done anything great, that I had to go to my college days to actually explain my achievements. Right. So indirectly, I'm myself talking negative about me. I didn't afford anything. Kuch nahi kiya, nothing. Last 5 years, nothing. Just let me go to college days and then talk. Right. It's not right. So the point here is the questions, personal questions can mostly be similar. It's the answers will actually have to change from person's personal experience. Right. Now, second kind of question, situational questions. Situational questions are something which generally asked from someone with high experience, like 5 years, 6 years, more than that. And the questions are something like this: Ki, I'll just tell you a simple question which we ask. Ki, say for suppose there is a deadline, your team has to meet, and you say you are a team of 4 people, and you are the one who's managing the team. And here is a deadline which you need to meet, and for sure you cannot meet the deadline because the work is unreachable. You cannot attain that particular thing. Now tell me what all steps you take to make sure the team is able to do the tasks. So these are the kind of situations which they can ask. Other situation can be, say there's a conflict, the team has a very hostile environment, and then you took over. How are you able to, what are the things which you can do from your side to make sure this hostile environment becomes a more friendlier environment, right? So what are the steps you took? So these kind of uh, situational questions will mostly go to the people with higher experience. So for timing, we can strictly talk about these personal level questions, and at the end, we'll again come to these situational questions, and we'll say how to answer them as well. All right.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation as well. Since you mentioned, the word answer in specific essays, in tech interviews, we have seen that, there are obviously right answers and wrong answers. There have obviously been a very binary deception of 1 and 0. For example, if I'm talking about what is a plus b whole square, I'll say a square plus b square plus 2ab. Nothing more, nothing less. But in case of behavioral round, do we have a criteria of right answers and wrong answers?
Hmm. Right. So first things first, in case of tech interviews, they are like a binary. There's a 0 or 1. You tell something, and there's a way to solve that approach. So it's either wrong or right. Correct. Now, in these kind of behavioral rounds, generally we say there are no right answers or wrong answers. That being said, if someone asks you, tell me about yourself, tell me your values, tell me about your beliefs, tell me what you're good at, what is that you're bad at, and then you say, sir, I don't know, I haven't thought of it much. Now that is a bad answer. Why? Because the question which is asked, it has nothing to do with job or anything. This is completely is asking about you, right? They're simply asking ki, look dude, just tell me ki where you're good at, something like that. And if you cannot answer that, that means you don't even have a clear cut idea about yourself. Now that is obviously a bad thing. So no answer is the baddest answer you can give. So that is the first thing. All right. Now, that being said, sir, if no answer is the bad answer, then can I talk anything and will that be okay? Right. The thing here is, say you go to any interview, or I'll tell you in a logic which everyone will understand. or you go to a date. Okay, here is a beautiful girl, guy, a guy. You want to make sure it works out, right? Now, when you go to a date, at the end of the day, what is the end goal? What is the end goal so that you go to a date or an interview? That the interviewer or the person you want to date, you want them to know about you. At the same time, the final conclusion is you want them to like you, right? You want them to like you for who you are, to impress, exactly, right? So, so to make sure this liking process is happening, correct? What are the steps you can take, right? So although, like I said, there is no bad answer, there is certain things you can do to make sure you land on an answer which can impress them, which they can like you. The first thing is c is clarity. First, everyone, you have to be clear about what you're answering. I'm coming, the three-step process. So you need to be clear about where do you stand and what do you want, and why do you want to join the company, and where is that you're good at. You need to be clear about this particular thing. Any answer you're going to give, you have to be clear first. Second, authentic. Now, what's authentic? This most of you already know. Say for suppose if someone asking you a weakness, and then you go to Google, and then you bring key working hard, workaholic. Being workaholic is my weakness. I'm someone who strives for excellence, even if it takes a little more time. Right? We generally have this kind of answers until and unless the interviewer is so dumb, right? They won't take these kind of answers. Correct.
Correct.
So being authentic is very important. Authentic is something which comes from within you, right? So when you have a clear clarity of thought, right, from there, when you answer, is where the authenticity comes in the picture. And the third and the last most important thing, that is likability. At the end of the day, I will select you if I like you. Correct. To give you a simple answer about this likability, say for suppose the interviewer is asking a question ki, why do you want to join this company? Now, I will say for suppose, I'll say because your company offers good salary and benefits, I want to join. Now, is it clear? It was very clear that the person wants to join because of clarity. Sorry, because of salary. Is it authentic? Duh, it is authentic. I'm honest about it, na? Ki it is obvious ki it is authentic. Now comes the third thing. Ki is it likable? Everyone, you tell me, is it likable? If you actually say uh, something like this, is it likable? Of course not. How can you be likable in an interview? What do you think, guys? What makes you think a person can be liked? What do you think? A couple of things which generally works out is being humble. Generally being humble and honest. When you don't know something, admit it. Okay, here is something which I'm not aware of, and that shows your human nature, that shows your authentic in nature. So if you can just follow these three things, uh, you can most often than not end up with good answers. So that's how you can make a good impression also. Guys, other than our discussion points, if you have any other question, raise it in the questions tab so that we'll take it at the end, so that nothing is missed. All right. Mihil bhai, please continue.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Yes, the audience has same consensus and the options that you have given. But yes, this brings me to a point, ladies and gents. Since we know this is an hour, session that will be diving deep into, I'll just talk on the lines of how these sessions are conducted. This is just a demo session that you have some insights on with respect to if your interview is lined up. Let's see a week or so. But here in our Scalar Academy's curriculum, we take these rounds very seriously, and we also have mock interviews with TAs, mentors, and instructors like Satya Sai himself before these top companies, Mang and whatnot, come for your behavioral interviews, because we want you to get that job offer, because in your success is our success. So if you want to know what are the current set of questions we have had, what our paid learners are answering in their real interviews for companies like Mang or other top credit based companies, what were the latest questions that the HR had posted, or what Satya Sai is actually briefing to his learners in his regular classes, you can opt in yes. This is just an one time opportunity, because we want to understand if you'd also be like to include it in such discussions. And yes, this is completely free of cost. Ideas will only interact and ask and gives ideas to your questions and give you answers if you are serious enough. So if only if you're opting in yes is when the team would be contacting you, won't be contacting you otherwise. So yes, the poll ends soon, and thank you for interacting on that poll, which again, brings us to the next part of our conversation. Since a lot of questions have already been addressed, I have a set of 5 6 questions for you, Satyas. I actually would like you to answer them based on the technique that you've just mentioned, which is obviously CAL. And if possible, please give an idea of a bad example of what the solution should be, and ideally what a person should be answering. So both a bad answer and a good answer for clarity.
Hmm.
But before we move in ahead, I would like to take in the audience as well in this discussion. So, ladies and gents, you've heard from Satya Sai as to what people expect to hear when they're posting certain questions. I would like to throw a question right back at you, ladies and gents. If I were to ask you, okay, Shrutika, Siddharth, and everyone else, why do you want to join this company? And be extremely honest, huh? Be extremely honest, extremely, there's no need to be embarrassed. You can write anything you want to.
Only
Why
bad
would you
answers
join?
allowed.
Yes, there's nothing right, nothing wrong. Now let us know, why would you join this company? It could be anything. Brand value, paisa, perfect.
At least someone is honest about it.
Culture, tech stack, salary, WLB, brand, company culture, quality of life, money, skills, reputation. You can also write Sodexo coupons. It's perfectly all right. There's nothing right or wrong. Brand and money, growth. Come on, ladies and gents. Let's bring in those questions. Girlfriend ke papa maan sake. A very good answer, Sagar. Yes. Matrimonial prospects. Why not? Career growth, family. बेकार बैठे हैं, no? Those are very honest answers, and they show your human touch, that you are in sync with issues that are happening. पैसा का चक्कर, I'm unemployed, so I want job. Perfect, perfect. Answers to the questions. Now, which again, SS, if I were to ask you, let's we've had people answering those questions, but if you would have to have this environment where I'm asking you questions, and I would have to throw you, can you tell me something about yourself?
Right.
What would your interpretation to that be?
Right. So first of all, everyone, how many of you got this question? Can you tell me about yourself? The first opening question of any kind of behavioral lab. So first things first, why would someone ask about this question? Are they expecting you to give some out of the world answers? Are they expecting you'll talk about all your strengths and weaknesses? Is that what you're expecting? No. First of all, this is just an icebreaker, right? So someone wants to know about you, right? And this is just an icebreaker question. Ki, hey, buddy, can you just tell me something about yourself so that we can continue the conversation? It is just like that kind of a question. Now, when someone asks this question, now how do you answer? So there are two ways. People can get little confused here. How many of you start uh, talking about the things which are once again there in your resume? Either you unknowingly or knowingly, you kind of talk once again about I did my education here, in this company I worked for 4 years, and then this is what I learned, and then I came here, right? So either you talk in that manner, or you completely talk about something which is not there in your resume. This is the habits which I learned. I had This is my hobbies. I am actually a good badminton player. I'm a good football player. I do cooking in my free time. Is something which you can say. Now, how many of you have a doubt key? Uh, how should I start with? Should I start with something which is there with the resume, or should I start with something which is completely off track? Right now, if you have that doubt, that's fantastic, because the only person who can answer that question is the interviewer. So when someone asks you, tell me about yourself, the first thing you can say is, sir, ma'am, do you want me to go through the things which I've done in the past? Or do you want me to talk about something which is not there, which is not shared? Like, my friends, family, what they think of me, and the connections and all that, right? So first ask a counter question. Okay, from there you can actually start building your answer, right? Now, if it is something to do with work, I'm sure most of you can talk about what you have done in the past, your education and background. So that will completely depend on what is there in your resume. Let me talk about the things which are not there in your resume. It's very simple to say, hey, look, I'm talking about strictly non-resume things. You can talking about hobbies. Don't they feel offended? No, no. You can respectfully tell them, ki, from where do you want to start, ma'am? Sir, ma'am, do you want me to go through the resume, or do you want me to talk about something which is not in the resume? You can be respectful about it, and there's nothing to feel offended, because you have a doubt and you're asking a follow-up question, which is completely fine, right? Now, say they will first say they are talking to ask about your resume, you tell about it, that is completely fine. Now, let us come to the other part, right? So one things which people generally say is that they directly tell about their hobbies. Ki, hey, I'm a badminton player. I played for college. I played for football. This is one way of telling things, no doubt. The other way to talk about non-resume things is it's like this. This is how I would say. Ki, my actually friends. I'm actually a good football player, and my friends actually call me a good team player. That's because whenever I play the football, and I play very well, I gel very well with the team. And this is one of the reasons why I understand people. I can connect here. I can connect with people very easily. I can gel with them very easily. Now, in this way of telling a hobby, intuitively, there is something which I told to the interviewer. Can you tell me what was that? Ajit, I just said it for an example, right? Exactly. When I said basketball, I didn't just said ki I'm just a basketball player or a football player. What I rather said ki am I a person who can work very well with the team, because I understand teams, I understand the people, I can connect easily with them, right? Now there's one more thing which I can say. You can say I like cooking, or you can say ki even from my very early days, I like cooking complicated dishes. No matter how complicated things are, no matter how time taking it is, I like to patiently sit and create a dish which everyone loves, especially the things which are in the details. Yeah, especially with cooking, if you just change salt just by few things, it will change the entire taste. And I'm someone who mastered that art. Now when I say in this manner, what are things which I'm indirectly saying? I am a man who has heavy patience. I'm a person who likes who thinks who gets those minute details. And I'm someone who, no matter how tough a task is, I do the task because I enjoy it. So this is how you can say your non-resume things. So instead of bluntly saying your hobbies or what you do other than this work, you can add something which will give you a point to uh, your professional career indirectly. Exactly, indirectly you're pitching about yourself. You can say that. All right. So this is how I would generally answer. Right. Now you can say, sir, what if there's nothing great about me, sir? I haven't played, I haven't done anything cooking, I haven't had anything like this. I'm coming to Kita. Then what is that I can say? Even say if there's nothing, you can simply say, this is, say for suppose I'm playing a badminton and I haven't done anything great over the last 7 years, I haven't achieved anything in that. So you can say, so this is a game which I've been playing for the last 5 6 years, right? And despite of that, despite I didn't win, I never won much, I never quit it. I just played it purely because this is something which I love it, because this is something which I like, right? And no matter whether I won, I didn't, I was consistent throughout. And if there's something which I like, I'll always be consistent on that. So even if there's nothing great in this entire sentence, even if I didn't achieve anything, I still indirectly talked about me being consistent on things. So this is how you can pitch about yourself with the non-resume things, where you can indirectly pitch about yourself. You can talk about your consistency. Maybe you're good with your patience, so pitch about your patience. You have a good one more example. I know it is little time taking. One more example is whenever my friends have any love issues, they come to me and they talk with me, right? What is that saying? You're good at conflict handling. So everything which you think you are good at, pitch it in a manner so that it is very authentic in nature. So this is how you can introduce yourself. Now, don't ask me, sir, where am I good at? How will you know where you are good at? That talk to your friends, ask your friends, hey, can you describe me in 3 words? Talk to your parents. Ma, Papa, what are the 2 things you really like about me? Know yourself better so that when this interview happens, you can answer this in a genuine, authentic manner. That's how you can answer this.
Yes, thank you for walking through that. Which brings me to the next question that an interview actually has for prospects. There is this question about SWOT analysis, which is okay, yes, tell me about your strength and weaknesses. A lot of answers and deliberations have been around that, but I have one genuine doubt. I believe a lot of people here would have the same doubt, is that how do we answer those questions with clarity and also being authentic and honest?
Hmm. Right. Before that, Milvai, everyone, let us finish off the frequently asked questions. Tell me about yourself and strengths and weaknesses. Few more questions are there. Once those questions are done, we will come to the questions in the questions tab. Okay, everyone. So let us just finish the most frequently things and then we'll come to that. We promise we'll come to questions. Don't worry. Right. Regarding the strengths and weaknesses, everyone, it's a very tricky question. I'll tell you why. Sir, if you want us to be honest and authentic, Satya, if you want me to be honest, and if I really honestly talk about my weaknesses, will the people even hire me? Right. So, a couple of you can have these kinds of doubts, right? So, first of all, I'll just talk about key. Please understand this much that everyone is not good at everything. Take Virat Kohli, for example. Fantastic finisher, no doubt. He plays extremely well. But when it comes to bowling at the death, it's Bumrah who bowls for us, right? It's not Virat. So why would company wants to know about your strengths and weaknesses? What will they gain from it? It's like this. Say you're good at something. So they'll know they can leverage that good from you to a higher extent, right? Say you're good at problem solving. So then given a tough problem, this guy can solve. So let me check that so that when the person joins, the problems he will solve may be slightly tougher. Now comes to the weaknesses. Why would someone want to know their weakness? Simple say point. When you say ki, this is where you're weak at, right? Now, first of all, when you say you're weak, does it mean you will do that particular thing bad? Not really. When you say you're weak, you will do extra efforts from your side to make sure you're still doing that well. You still do that at least to a decent level. It's not like you'll outrightly completely give up, right? For example, if you say public speaking is your weakness, and today you have to go in front of public and talk. So because it is your weakness, you will spend extra effort to make sure it is going well, right? So weakness is not a bad thing. Now the weakness part, why will the company want to know, right? The reason why the company want to know is so that the kind of a team environment they will place you, the kind of the task they will place you will kind of depend on your strengths and weaknesses. For example, a very simple example, I am a person who's excellent at communication. I go and I interact well, example. And then say ki, despite me being good at communication, but I'm slightly weak when it comes to making powerpoints and everything. Now, when my manager, the hiring person knows this, so is there a good chance ki, okay, here is a guy who can communicate well, but since he's weak at communication, let me keep this person to a team or a buddy who's good at this other part, that is the PowerPoint, so that he can work on his or her weakness, right? So that can be one good thing. I'll tell you from my own weakness. During my interview, this is what happened. They asked about my strengths. I said ki I learned something very detailed. Weaknesses was something I was very honest ki I'm a very slow learner. If someone takes something which is like say 30 minutes, I clearly said ki for me it will take that extra 1 hour. But I'll keep that time, but I will learn. Right. So when something like this happened, right? So they were completely okay with it. I learn at my own pace, correct, and it is slightly at the slower pace, right? So the things which they did was, so they kept me at a team, right, which has a very which they are doing it at, they are doing a task which has a very lengthy duration. Like the task in itself is 1 2 years. The pure reason why they did was because I was a little slow learner. Once I learn something, they want me to completely do that throughout, out and out for 1 2 years, right? So I didn't had a shift, immediate shifts, because if someone is fast learner, they can immediately do this, go to the next, do this, go to the next. So because of my innate nature, I got something like this opportunity, which is still good. So that's the advantage of knowing your strengths and weaknesses, right? Saying such answers can they reject from your job? Not very unlikely, everyone. When you're just being honest about your weakness, other than if your weakness is I'm very lazy, given a task I don't actually do much, that's an outright rejection. If that is your weakness, then obviously no one will give you a job, right? So other than those kind of things, generally your weaknesses, they will try to help you on your weaknesses. That's the idea. It's not to bully on your weakness. I hope I answered the question.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, that is a very good answer. Do you all agree? With the explanations given, give a yes. So if
Just
you
one more thing.
like,
So everyone, these two questions. Tell me about yourself, first thing, and the second thing is key strengths and weaknesses. The best way to actually get them is to analyze internally. Sit to yourself, talk to your friends, ask them about yourself, talk to your parents, know about yourself so that you can pitch these strengths, these weaknesses, the things which are good at in a very intelligent manner. So when and in a that is clear, authentic, and likable manner to the interviewer. Right. For strengths, what can we say? Everyone will have their own individual strengths, right? Uh, Strength is something which you're good at. Given a task, I'm someone who have a deeper, I take a deeper understanding on things. That is my strengths. Now, what are your strengths? That depends about you, right? Huh. We can continue, right?
perfect, perfect. Yes, Srini, we'll cover those points as well. I think the interview is going, pretty smooth. The next question that I have for you is a very unique question that there is. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, Satyasai?
Right. Uh, so first things first, everyone, for this question, can everyone tell me what is something which is an unlikable answer here? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Can you tell me that? Sukant, here, I just meant it in my personal case. They won't change your team, but when I said weakness, the help will be given so that they can accommodate your weakness. They won't completely change your team itself. This is something which happened to me in Scalar. Uh, they can just help you so that your weakness is something which is reduced. So that's what I meant. I hope I answered your question, Sukant. Right. So what are your in the next 5 years? If no. If an interviewer asking you this question, in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? What are bad answers for this? CEO of the company, thank you. Management, upper management, some vice president, something like that in your position, fair enough. Rich person, nice. So, so say an interviewer is taking this round and say he asked me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And if I start in the next 5 years, I want to be this VP of this position or say the technology head, something like that. Now, how will that come out? Here is the guy who's interviewing me who would have had more experience, and he or she himself couldn't reach the position, and I am saying I will reach it, although you are ambitious, but it comes out as not that likable, correct? Now, before I start, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? How many of you know there was a planning committee in India for under government? There's a planning committee, and it was disbanded back in 2014. But there was a planning committee, and they used to plan how do the things look for the next few years, right? The reason why it was completely closed is no one can predict what can happen in the future. uh, no one knows in the next 5 years what exactly will happen. Who in the world would have predicted COVID is going to happen in the next 5 years? Impossible to predict. That being said, you can have your own way of your own mini version. Okay, where I might be, right? Now, before directly answering where you might be in the next 5 years, the correct step would be, for example, someone is asking me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in this software engineering? Okay, assume. Now, instead of directly saying where I'll see myself in the next 5 years, a proper way would be this. When I actually came to software engineering, initial days, when I used to pick these small problems and solve them, the amount of happiness it gave me was immeasurable. I enjoyed solving those things. I had great fun in solving those things. For every small thing which I solved, the amount of dopamine which gave me, that's when I knew I have to solve problems, right? And I knew that this is the field which can give me that happiness. So, so this is the field I want to be in. Next 5 years also, I want to keep solving more and more tough problems. The problems can change. In the next 5 years, maybe there are different set of problems. But no matter what, I want to be in the field where I can go and apply my thoughts and solve those problems because I get pure enjoyment from them. So that's how you can pitch. So instead of directly answering, "Ki, where do you see yourself?" you can explain why did you came to this field in the very first place? What made you choose this particular field in the very first place? What was your interest? And talk about how the field looks like in the next 5 years. Say software, the AI, and how the software field in itself can evolve in the next 5 years, and that evolvement, how it is going to interest you. So that's how you can talk about something if you want to see yourself in the next 5 years. So that's one way you can answer this question, right? If you don't like the field in itself, if you don't like a field, why are you even interviewing to that position in that particular company? Right? So everything is based on an assumption that you like the company, you like the field, you like the position. On this assumption, we are going to the discussion. Right, right, Nihal.
Very, very valid point there, SS. Uh, Another question that I have, in the FAQs that I had for you, but as I'm asking you, I would also like to ask the audience if what is their interest with this question and how they would like you to answer that. So the question is, Satya Sai, I see a gap in your resume. Can you please explain to me why the gap is there?
Right.
Ladies and gents, do you want to hear Satya Sai answer?
First of all, how many of you also have this gap in your resume? You can be honest about it. It's completely fine. Gap is completely fine. Right. Fantastic. So this is for you. Uh, First things first, everyone. Uh, Having gap is a human thing. Okay. If you have a gap in your resume, that is a very human thing to do. It's not a bad thing. All right. So it is completely fine to have a gap, and you don't have to feel guilty about it, nor you have to be self-conscious ki I have gap. It is bad. Definitely not. Okay. When the interviewer says, "Oh, look, in your resume, I see a gap," they don't mean it in a bad way. What they mean is, ki, okay, can you give me the reasons behind? What is the reasons? Ki, why is that there is a gap? Now, when they ask you that, when you gave the industry a gap, what were the reasons? Health issues, be it mental, psychological, physical, whatever it might be. You needed a break, so you took a break. So you took a what is that? You took a gap. You went for higher education, so you took a break. So you took a gap for 2 3 years, or you can also be it didn't work that well with the ex company, so I just wanted to take a break, work on myself. Or most important thing, so I had a family and there's some family emergency and I had to take care of my family. Hence, I had to take a gap for these many months, these many years. All those are completely fine. The point here is when you give them a proper reason why you took a break, it is completely fine. So you have absolutely nothing to worry about it. Most HRs, most the people who are going to take this, they are very empathic people. All right, they're not going to judge you on these issues. He had a family issue, I had an health issue, so I took a break. That is fine. Okay. Now, here comes a catch. After saying you took a gap, you should also explain what things you did in the gap so that you are coming back to the field. For example, I took a gap of 3 years from software engineering. Now I'm directly coming to software engineering. Now, obviously, they will ask here, you took 3 years gap. Things have changed. So the things, what you can do is you can tell what all things you have done in the gap to stay in touch with the current things. For example, you can say, I actually, although I was in gap for 3 years, I actually did a couple of courses to update myself So stay in the touch. So I'm not completely off. I did keep one leg in the gap as well. So to make sure that I'm still up to date on the current trends. So that is saying that although you took a gap, you're still there. So you are still very much hireable person. So that's how you can, pitch your gap and tell what you did in the gap. Say you had a 6 years gap. You can say, although I had a 6 years gap, especially in the last 1 year, to make sure I come back into the tech again, I started doing this course, some scalar course or some website course, some Coursera course. I did this entire course. And these are the things which I rewinded. These are the things which I rewind. I learned, relearned, so that I can come back to this particular thing. Even though you're non-CS background, whatever position you're applying, make sure that you do some learning before you go and apply, so that you can pitch about that learning. That can help you out. What if I did some different course other than Priyanshi, it's not about software engineering job in itself. Whatever job you're applying after the gap, you will directly won't directly apply some company, right? You will do some learning. You will take 4 or 5 months and do some learning. Talk about that learning you did, so that you can happily have a smooth interview experience. So talk about the gap and the learning you had. That's how you can talk about your gap. That will help you out, right? I hope that answers your question. Right.
Yes, that does. That was a very beautifully illustrated question. Yeah, it's a learning curve, isn't it? Well articulated. But Satya Sai, I also want to know, you've given a good understanding of your gap that you had in your resume. Why do you want to join this specific company?
Okay. How many of you got this particular thing? Why this company? Why this company? Right. Okay. So I'll tell you an experience, which is as unbelievable as it sounds. Honest to God, I promise on everything this happened. Okay. So hear me out. This is an interesting story for you guys. So here is my one of my friend who gave an interview in Google. Okay. And he cleared the initial rounds. And the follow-up question was, okay, why Google? And this is what he answered. I promise it. This is what he answered. What he said was, this is very rare because they also know that no one will tell the truth. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Okay, and then you can be the judge to yourself. This is what he said. Sir, I've seen a movie 4 years back. I've seen this movie called The Internship. The Internship. So the internship is a movie where two 30-year-olds, they apply for an internship in Google, and they crack. They end up getting the internship, and then after the internship process, they actually end up getting the jobs. And those people have nothing to do with tech at all, right? They still end up getting the jobs. They learned things, Google helped them, and then they applied and they got. So what he said was, sir, I've seen this movie of this internship, the internship. I saw how two 30-year-old people were able to get into Google even without prior tech experience. I know I had this gap, and then I know if there is one company which will honor with just skills. I know it is Google. From that day, I decided I have an excellent chance if it's Google. So that's why I applied for Google. This is, I swear this happened. Okay. Now you can ask, well, for every other, the person was hired. That's a different story. Right. Now, the point in this entire thing is something motivated on him to apply for Google. And the reason for that is he saw that Google values skills here, even though there is some gap, some non-tech, Google still hires, correct? Now, every company will value something. Every company will have its own uniqueness. If you say Microsoft, people talk very highly of Microsoft when it comes to their work culture and the way they treat their employees. If you can, if it is Microsoft you're applying, you can obviously say I've heard a lot of great things about the way the work culture is, the way you do training programs to your own people, and they want to be a part of that. That is one way. Say it's Amazon is a heavy work culture where there's a lot of work, right? There's a saying that if you can work 2 years in Amazon, you can handle any other company. You can say Amazon is a place where I want to challenge myself. I always have been doing that. And I know this is the right challenge for me. Hence, I want to come and continue the process. If it is Goldman Sachs, or if it is some JPMC, or if it is some company, what you can first do is understand why this particular company, what are the unique things about this company, what are the unique things which is attracting you to join. First, do that research. That is the bare minimum thing which you need to do. and what are the things they're working on, correct? And how is that is aligning to your own interest. I'll give you one more example. Say it's a startup is there there's a weight loss startup, right? What is it? Healthify. So say someone is applying for Healthify. What can they say? I see that you are in this weight loss industry. I have my own people who are actually suffering from this heavy weight, and I want to be a part which solves that kind of an issue in this country. I want to be a part where I can take this out to more and more. I want to understand how we are solving, and I want to bring my own things as well. So that's how you can talk about how the company's goal is aligning to your own goal, right? So the first thing you have to do when you're applying to any company is research about the company, understand what are the things you like about the company. Second, what are the things the company is working on and how are they aligning to your own goal. So you can talk, then you can pitch very well, ki, this is why I want to work in that company. Take Scalar only, for example. When they ask me why do you want to join Scalar? Very simple reason. I said, yeah, I love teaching. That's what everyone says. How I continued, I started teaching from my eighth class. I used to take home tuitions to earn some pocket money. And then I understood something, the amount of happiness when I get when teaching something which is very tough to teach, teaching in a very simple manner is pure happiness. And for that reason, I know that teaching is something which gives me happiness. Hence, I want to teach, right? So that's how you can talk about how your ideas are aligned to company's future and the things which the company is doing which you like. So this is how you can answer this question. I hope that answers to all of you.
Yes. Since you've struck eight, what we'll do is, Satya Sai, we will take the questions from the questions tab now. Yes, Venkata, we'll do that. But before we do that, there were certain questions on the lines of job gap already in the bank, which I have marked as answered because we have covered that in our discussion. We will take more questions on that, and we'll take the ones that are upvoted. So guys, just a minute, go back to the questions tab. There are around 13 14 questions. Upvote the questions you would want to be answered first, and please only post a question once. Even if you've done that, then it's good to go.
And before we go there, there's one last thing I want to talk about: communication. Just let us talk about that as well. How many of you feel, ki, sir, I'm little weak at communication. I'm little scared. For me, shivering is something which happens. How many of you feel that's an issue? Malvi ji, can you raise it in the questions tab? I'll answer it. Let us talk about communication and then we'll come to that. Okay. So if communication is your issue, not weak, not strong, fair enough, right? Uh, Good. So first of all, everyone, in communication, there are three things. First is you feel you're not that good at English. The sentence formation is slightly here and there, right? How many of you feel that is your issue? He said, my sentence formation is not that great, sir. Right? Uh, have did anyone of you ever hear the great APJ Abdul Kalam sir talking in a speech? Although there are slight formation things, right? Slight things here and there, but still you will understand the speech fantastically well, right? So the truth about a speech is people generally think speech and communication, the grammar is very important. It's often not. It's mostly how simple and understandable your speech is. Okay, 90% comes down to just that. Ki how well you can simply, talk and make them understand. It should be clear and understandable. Right. Exactly. Like I said, simple and understandable and clear. That being said, sir, what if I'm weak at that also, sir? I'm completely outrightly weak at those things also. Everyone, here are the three things you can do if you're completely weak at that communication as well. First thing, how many of you have MSD as your favorite? MSD, Virat Kohli, some cricket person as your favorite. This is what I did. I used to imagine I am MS Dhoni, and then I just won the World Cup. Now I think like the boys did play very well, but the pitch conditions were not suiting to the bowler. Hence, I had to pick this particular decision. And although it did backfire, I learned a couple of things. The batsmen have did contribute to a good score. 350 on this pitch is actually good. The bowler should have done well. In this entire thing, nothing makes sense. I just did some blubber, but I talked something. But the point here is, you imagine you are MS Dhoni, and then you do some talking. You assume you are doing some post match presentation. Imagine you are some Virat Kohli. Imagine you are some famous personality and talk. That helps. That really helps. First thing. Okay, that is what I did in my schooling days. Even now I do. Okay. The second thing which really helped me is watching TV shows, funny TV shows, and watch the same thing again and again. Don't just watch it one time. Watch the same thing again and again so that the words will stick with you. When you do that in a repetition, that will stick with you. So just by doing these two things, I was able to improve my English. I didn't read a single English book in my life. I have 20 books. I touch none of them. I over enthusiastically order all of them, but I don't read. So I didn't got with by reading English. I just got purely by assuming ki I am this personality. Let me talk. Once in a while I assume I'm a prime minister, and then I talk all the things which I want to do as a prime minister. I'll do these education bills. I'll do this farmer bills. Just pure assumption based, which helps your logic, which helps your sentence formations also. So that is what helped me. Okay. Second, watch English movies repeatedly, same again and again, which will help you. If you feel you're slightly weak at communication, is what you can do. Okay. Now the second thing, sir, I'm little nervous, sir. Sir, hands shiver, sir. Hands become wet, sir. Although I'm good at English, this happens, sir. What can I do, sir? What can I do, Satya? Right. Uh, for this particular thing, everyone, first of all, why are you nervous? Can one of you tell me why? Why is that? Why is that you're nervous? You're nervous because this interview means something to you. Yes. When you go in front of 100 people and then you have to pitch something, right? Why is it you're scared? Because you know that you have something to lose here. If you mess in front of 100 people, you know that you will be called out, you know that you will be joked around. The same thing which you can do in front of a single person, why is it you are not able to do in front of 100 people? Because you know that if something happens, you will lose something. Because there's something to lose, you will start getting nervous. Now it's very easy to say ki, don't be nervous. That it's bullshit. It doesn't happen that way. It's not something which you can turn on and off. Ki, don't be nervous. Fantastic idea. Okay, now from now on, I'm not nervous. So that's not how nervousness works. First of all, if you're nervous, that is fine, which is a good thing because you know that you have something to lose. Okay, accept the reality. Now, what you can do to reduce the nervousness? Constant practice. If you directly go to in front of interview and talk, instead assume you are taking some mock interviews, right? And then they are asking these questions. You answer them. You answer them once, twice, thrice, four times, five times. The same thing the interviewer asks. Now it is a innate your memory. It will directly come out. This time you don't even have to go in your thoughts, think and answer because you answered it so many times. Innately it comes out with practice. So that practice improving your muscle memory, which will help you to answer these generic questions in a very easy manner. So one good thing is the mock interviews. Interview Bit offers free mock interviews in their platform. Just check the Interview Bit. Okay, right. So the first thing is mock interview, right? So now the second thing, sir, other than mock interviews, what other things I can do to help me reduce my nervousness, right? Everyone, if you're feeling slightly nervous during the interview, how many of you felt a slight nervousness during the interview? Right, right. So everyone, if you are feeling that nervousness, what you can do is, sir, can I just take 30 seconds? Can I just have a sip of water? I want to just collect my thoughts and explain. When you say that, when you say ki, I just want to take a 30 seconds to collect my thoughts, that just shows your humane nature to the person. Ki here is a person who's slightly nervous, but he's coming up and explaining this to me, and he just asked for 30 seconds to just have some water to collect the thoughts. This entire answer is telling your humane side to the person. It is both clear, authentic, and likable also. So it is fine to say ki you are nervous so that you can collect your thoughts. This is completely fine. Until and unless you are at a position where you are shivering all together, ki you can't even face a person, that kind of nervousness has other name that is called anxiety. So that's a different story altogether. That needs a separate work altogether. You need to sit with yourself, work with someone altogether. More often than not, the nervousness you can reduce on that with pure practice. This I actually had that level of nervousness. I did work on that, and then I reduced my nervousness with multiple mock interviews. Right. Now comes the last thing, everyone: unclear and unstructured convincing answers. This can happen to a couple of you. You're good at communication, agreed, and you're very confident as well. But sometimes when you answer, you're not that convincing, you're not unstructured. Once again, the structuring is not something which comes on the fly. Most often than not, people think I'll go and wing it. Uh, how many of you know that teachers, when they come to teach you, all of you know that they also come prepared? Yes. The teachers also prepare. Yes. Just take a guess. If it's a 2 hour class, sir is not making eye contact is a mistake. I'm actually looking at the my what is this uh, laptop actually, so that's why maybe you're not seeing my eye contact, right? Uh, right. Regarding teachers, everyone say there's a 2 hour class. Take a rough guess and tell me how many hours do they think the teacher needs to prepare? Take a rough shot in the dark. Take a shot in the dark. How many hours do the instructor prepare? Acha, acha. 30 minutes, half an hour, 10 hours. Okay, just so you know, everyone, to teach a 2 hour class, it at least takes 4 to 5 hours of full preparation. Why so much? The amount of things you need to keep in your head, the structuring, you need to structure each and every one of your thought before you go to the class. And you need to remember the structure. It takes that much amount of time. So what you can do is when you practice your interviews for these kind of generic questions, you know what to answer, just structure those answers and remember the structure. Someone is asking about myself. Okay, first I need to talk my past. Okay, done. Next I need to talk about my hobbies. In this hobbies, I have to talk about this particular point, explaining it. This is how I learn teamwork. I have to talk about this point so that this is how I can explain about my patients. Have the structure in your mind, and that structure will help you answer this kind of generic questions. And that structure comes with your own practice. This will also help you not fumble about things, right? So this is how you can improve your structuring your answer. So this is how you can work on your communication, my friends. All right. So I hope I was able to give you at least one new point. This might not give you everything new. Even if you learned one new point from this entire discussion, it makes me very happy. Now let me answer to the questions. All right. Sir, is making eye contact. You do make eye contact. It is a good thing. Eye contact is generally a good thing. So when you look at them, they will also look at you, right? So with this, we are done with the class. I'll go to the questions part now. I'm very happy to all of you. You've been phenomenal. And the full throughout, all of you have been continuously messaging. Fantastic. And without a doubt, you were interactive. And I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Thanks a lot, everyone. This is just a small poll. After this poll, we'll go to the 1 second. After this poll, we'll go to the questions part. If you learned at least a single point, thanks a lot for that. And just before you leave, one question. How many of you also felt even my English is slightly here and there? Slightly, sentence was slightly off, words were slightly off. So the truth is, even my English is also not that exceptional, right? Yeah, you are the judges, no doubt. So the thing is, I'm just confident because I've did this so many times. ठीक है. I myself observed there are certain things which are going here and there. So this is completely fine. It's not about how good your English is. It's simply about how simple and understandable and how confident and non-nervous you are while talking. That's it. All right. So I hope you learned at least a thing or two from this entire thing. I really appreciate all of you staying till the very end. And we are starting the questions tab. Cannot make eye contact if beautiful pretty girl is sitting in front of me. What to do? First thing, Siddharth, you are not there for your marriage proposal. All right. Nor you're going to get married with the girl, nor the girl is going to fall for you. This is the first thing. I know it feels like a joke, but this is what I said to myself. Satya, you're not going to get married to the girl. Okay. She's just an interviewer. In fact, if the girl is that beautiful, it makes even more fun to look in the eye and talk. because naturally we don't get those chances. If you naturally see a girl look in the eye and talk, that will be court case, right? But this one time you can actually really sit and just talk to her. How great the opportunity is. So what is it to feel nervous here, right? So just go talk. That is completely fine. Beauty stops me talking. Now,
Thank you, Siddharth, for asking that question. Those are tips for me as well. So thank you on my behalf as well. SS, while you are taking questions on the question answer tab, what I'll do is parallelly I'll launch certain polls so that we can understand and we can generate feedback from
okay,
the audience.
fair enough.
So we can do that parallelly as well. Ladies and gents, I'll launch a series of 4 polls. I would request all of you to interact with them. It is ideally to understand you how you much you enjoyed the session. What else would you like Satyasai and I to do next time when we come around here? Is there something else that you'd like to add on? Plus minus, there are ratings and scales, so you can interact with those polls while he does the Q&A.
The first question is how to answer below question. Here is a question asked by interviewer. If you want to work with stubborn people, does not listen to anything and wants to work the way he wants to, all kind of toxic and political. I mean political influence to get things, and you don't have an option to work with others because of project deadline. How to deal with this person and work and get the project completed. So this is what I would generally do. So if say I have to work with someone who doesn't share the same views as me, I'll just have a honest, just one-on-one talk with the person and try to understand where is he coming from to have such thoughts. He has some certain thoughts. Maybe they're anti something. Maybe they're anti some religion, right? So I'll have a simple talk with the person and understand their past. Okay, I'll share my own past. Hello, Mihilbhai. Actually, I'm from fourth year, and in my past, this is what I faced. So talk about my past first to learn about their past. When I learn about their past, I understand their perspective. So first, I'm keeping myself in their shoes. That is you being empathic. No matter how stubborn the guy is, you're trying to just understand his or her point of view, which is always a good thing. Now that you understand point of view, from there you'll actually try to build the solution key. Okay, this is why this guy is like this. So let me pitch my request in certain manner so that not he gets offended. At the same time, he or she can come to my help. So understanding their perspective gives you a way to solve with them. So that is what I would do. So keep yourself in their shoes and try to understand why is that they are being so stubborn, what made them who they are right now. That will give you an idea of how you can make it work with them. Second thing what you can do, Siddharth, is something like this. If you know that it doesn't work out with you, no matter what you say, it doesn't work out, understand if who can make this guy work. Understand who can make this particular person bend on his knees. I mean, get its work done. Reach out to that person and get your work done from that particular person. This is something which happened in my own work. There is this guy I was trying to get my work done. He's being very stubborn about it. He was like, no. So then I reached out to other person. I know they like. So I went, I requested her and she asked and the work is done. So you can be very intelligent about who can make him play along, so you can reach out to that person. So that's one more thing which you can do. I hope I answered the question. And second thing, third situational thing you can say is project is getting completed. Now it has a deadline, so what you can do, right? So that right. So one more thing about reaching deadlines is the way I generally solve it in this manner. Okay, first accept that yeah, I cannot finish this entire thing off. Now what? I'll generally ask you what are the most top priority products in this particular thing. What is the top priority things you want? Get the priority list of subtasks and then finish them in the order of priority. This will also help me to at least give me the high quality deliverables. Maybe not the complete project in itself, but the high quality sub product is something which I can still deliver. So if not the full product, at least the majority. So this is how we can solve this problem in step-by-step process. I hope I was able to answer at least to your expectations. Salary negotiation technique. Right. I have to talk about this with my own salary, I guess. Can you please throw some light on salary negotiation technique? Rachita ji, first of all, before ever directly reaching out to salary, first of all, you would already know what is the current salary which you are getting. Okay, done. Step one. Step two, before directly throwing some number to them, do a research, marketplace research on what is the salary which this position is offering in the other kind of companies, other competitors. Say, for example, say there is some Google's HD to salaries, say it is 23. Say, for example, you want to ask for 23. What you will do, get a marketplace research. Okay, Amazon HD2 is how much? This HD2 is how much? Goldman HD2 is how much? And for how many years, how much they are giving. You can get that information in Glassdoor. Now, when you pitch, you can say, okay, hey, this is the market research I've done, and with my current kind of experience, I think this is the number which I am expecting. You can be honest about it. This is the number which I'm expecting. Either they'll try to match you, or maybe they'll try to play along. Key, this is what we can offer. Then you can that you can, if the difference is way too high, then you can in a very soft tone ki, with my current experience I think this is quite less, can you once again slightly increase this number? If not here, can you at least match this number? So you can lowball your own number to a limit which is acceptable to you. So two things you need to do: do a marketplace research directly before saying any number, and then when you say the number, if they accept, well and good. If they are trying to lowball, tell them ki, with my experience currently, I think this is what I deserve. Can you please once cross check once again? If they're still being rigid about it, you can say, if you cannot reach this number, can you at least try to match this number? In that way, you can ask. If they're so rigid and ki, nahi, this is what we have, this is our budget, then the only option is in your court ki, whether you want to work with this salary or not. If they are so rigid, they don't even want to increase, then that's a different story. I hope I was able to answer that one. How to answer a question based on stability in the job, like why so many frequent job changes? Aishwarya ji, when someone is asking you ki, why so many job changes, that is a slightly an issue. So you have to be very clear ki, what is that made you shift so many jobs? In the first job, this is the issue I faced. In the second job, I really loved the product and I wanted to develop more bigger, complicated things. Hence, I moved to something which challenges my skills more. Hence, I moved to the third company. In the third company, I had faced a couple of issues in this particular way. Hence, I had to go move on from that particular company. So when you move a company, you will move to a bigger company for reasons: salary, pay, work culture, whatever it is. So whatever reason you have, make sure you pitch that particular reason properly and they will understand that. They will be empathic towards it. Now they can ask you, well, what if you leave this company as well? Tell them ki, obviously the goal is to stay in this company for longer duration. Even before applying to this company, I've researched about your company. I understood the issues which I've gone through, and I checked your company. And glad to say this, that in this particular company, there are very strong help. Sorry, I've got to know that there's a strong help given by this company regarding these issues. And then I know that I'm in safe hands. That's why I actually came and applied to this company. So that's how you can explain, Aishwarya ji. So tell the issues and then tell how the company is going to help these issues. So the company also knows, ki, okay, this girl did some research. So that will help you, right? Can you please discuss the behavioral? Amazon asked you in the behavioral round. In my behavioral round, they just asked me about my strengths and weaknesses. Strength pe I said कि I'm an in-depth learner. Slow weaknesses pe I clearly said कि I'm a very slow learner. To do something, I take so much time. These were the couple of things, and they asked about since I was college graduate at that particular time, Suchita ji. It's mostly talking about my college, those 4 years of college. So the duration was very, very less. Other than these generic things, nothing concrete as such. How to convince superior about not to able to work in the US time zone? Uh, when you say you don't want to work in the US time zone, you can have three things: be it either a family thing or be it your health thing. So when you genuinely have a heart-to-heart talk, so this is the family issues which I'm facing, because of which I don't want to work in the time zone. Can you please alter this? At least can you make it slightly more flexible? So when you ask something, you don't directly say, hey, make this. Instead, can you be a little flexible about this timings, so that this is the issue which my family is facing, or this is the health issues which I'm currently facing. I started getting more anxiety mentally or physically. My blood glucose have started to rise up. I started to lose a lot of focus. So I am not really comfortable at these timings. Can you be flexible? So you can pitch it with the problems you're facing, right? I want to talk with the senior and told them I don't want to work with this kind of person because it will affect the project. Right. So that you can be honest about it. You can obviously always have a call with the person and say, "Ki, uh, so I'm trying instead of directly like bad mouthing the person, you can always say this is the conflicts which arise when I was working with the person, and I don't really think the project can be finished within the deadline if I actually continue to work with them. Is there something which you can do about it? Can you please change my team accordingly so that we can give you the promised product within the deadline so that the work doesn't get affected?" So that's how you pitch. You pitch that you're not able to work because you're not able to finish the project. That itself will help you, will help them to understand the seriousness of the problem. Right. Uh, right. And I'll take few more questions, everyone. With that, we'll close. Uh, it's just that we all have a class at 9. So what are the right questions to ask from a candidate to judge his or her attitude, what kind of a person he is? Imtiazi, first after these personal questions, you can have a couple of situational questions. Situational questions like, here is a situation. What do you do in this kind of a scenario? One situation which was what I was asked. Ki, so you have a team, right? And you know that you cannot deliver the product on time. Now tell me what is it you're going to do with the team, right? Because I applied for a team lead position, and these are the things which I was asked, and I was very honest about when I answered, and they got to know how I think. So if you want to know someone's attitude towards something, so you can ask situational questions to understand how will they do in these tasks, in this kind of situations, to understand the kind of thought process they have. That can help you out. Now, what situations you want to ask, it will depend on what kind of attitude you want to learn. How do they work under pressure? So you ask the situations around, "Ki, here is a deadline and you know you cannot meet. Now what will you do?" That tells ki how well can they perform under the pressure. Here is a team. The team will always have some conflicts and you are in the team. How will you respond to that? How will you work with the team? How will you go and gel with the team? So that can help you out in Tiazi. Uh, Three more questions. Does any company look for a person who's very much adamant so that they can use him or in any kind of work? Does any company look for a person who's very much adamant? I'm extremely sorry, Shrutika ji. I didn't really understood what do you mean by very much being adamant. Uh, so I'm extremely sorry about that. Sir, as a fresher, what should I learn to crack IT interviews in IT sector? Sujit, as a fresher, the things you want to learn as first things first, learn DSA, data structures and algorithms, because as of now in IT sector, the first rounds are related to that. Followed by you will have development. So make sure you do some development related things. For development related courses in YouTube pay, there are so many mini courses. Depends on the tech stack you want to work. You can pick a tech stack and work, right? So DSA plus development will without a doubt get you the job. So you have nothing to worry about. So which degree you did from Amazon? And Shrutika ji, I'm a 2019 college graduate from VNR Vigyan Jyoti. I did my BTech in computer science, right? And I got placed in software development level 1 in Amazon. How to handle backstabbing and backbitching in work politics? Regarding politics in office is something which is out of your hands. By chance, if your manager is good, you can always go and talk to your manager about it. If not, you can complain to your HR. Uh, Politics in itself, how to handle, will take a separate class altogether because it comes under conflict management and team management. What I would do is I would generally have a call with manager, or have a call with HR and say, "This is what I'm facing. Can you do something about it?" It's just a request. You can just request them. That's what I would do, right? Uh, if an interviewer says client's deadline you cannot meet, so what will be the answer? Pooja ji, if there's a deadline you cannot meet, okay, accept that you cannot meet. Now the next thing you can do, what you'll do is, "Ki, sir, then what are the topmost requirements for the client? Can you at least let me know that? So at least I'll try to finish those within the deadline." So that tells you कि although you cannot do everything, you accepted the fact. Now you moved on to the next best thing. Give the best deliverables you can give to the client. At least that will help the person, right? Uh, all right. Is it okay allowed to negotiate salary if it's on campus placements? Naman, campus placement very rarely happens. That being said, if you have a counter offer from someone, which is a higher offer, but you still want to work with this company, you can slowly pitch, this is a counter offer which I have, but I also want to work in the company. Can you at least match the particular counter offer? So can you at least match this particular number so that when I work, I am completely here. I don't want to think, oh, okay, maybe with a higher package, maybe did I miss something out? I don't want to have those kind of thoughts. So is it possible to reach this number? So that's how you can pitch, if and only if you have a counter offer. If not, very generally, companies when they come to the college, the base in itself is fixed for all the students. So negotiation is not something which is possible. Even this negotiation, it is only possible if you actually apply this off campus. All right, everyone, thankful for all of you for joining this class. We have more such questions, which is completely fine. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of them. So we will do one more such class again. So there we will discuss more such questions once again. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining. I really appreciate all of you for being there. Thanks, guys. I hope you all learned a thing or two from this particular interview. If you like this class and uh, if you want to learn more about this, please do join next set of classes as well. And if you like this class and you want to know more about Scalar, what we do, please choose option yes so that we can also talk more about Scalar as well. Right. How to get referral for good company applies. Shikshika, you need to have some contacts. Make contacts in LinkedIn. Open LinkedIn. Make connections. Send connection requests. For every connection request, send what is the work you did till now. Why is that you need? Why is that you deserve a referral? Message them. Tell them the work. Then get a referral with them. Then apply for interviews. That is the process you can do. Shiksha ji. LinkedIn. That's it from my side. Thank you, Michelle ji. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Keep smiling. Nervousness is something which we already discussed. I guess you can. If you're feeling uncomfortable, you can tell the interviewer, can I just get 30 seconds time to just collect my thoughts? So just have a sip of water, collect your thoughts and answer. Nervousness is something which you can handle with sheer practice. Second thing, you can tell honest about it. If you're shivering level nervousness, then you need a full-fledged preparation on the nervousness. That being said, that'll be it from my side. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Take care. Gap
Thank
is
you.
also on the side. So
Thank
you
you. Thank you,
thank
Satya
you
sir.
guys.
And
Take care.
yes, as mentioned, ladies and gents, we've anyways overshot by half an hour or so, but we would have loved to take it more in depth. But Satya Sai has a session at 9, the paid course, so he'll be taking care of that. But yes, if you enjoyed this session, um, Vikas, you must have joined, you must have registered for this event, correct? You must have received certain emails. There is an event page link you must have got. That is the link for certification. You click on that and you click on download certificate option. Currently it will be grayed out, but by tomorrow 11 a.m. is when you can expect, or not even 11 a.m. I think tomorrow's around 7 8 a.m. is when you can expect, and then you can download. So please check your inbox for your emails. You have already got all the links over there. Yes, and if you enjoyed this session, ladies and gents, I have already shared Satya Sai's LinkedIn profile. Please do take out 2 minutes of your time and post your certificates over there. Let us know how you like the session, what all you like, things like that. You can tag Satya Sai on the LinkedIn post that you make. If you want, you can tag me as well. I'd be happy to connect and share your posts as well. So if you have missed out, here is both Satya Sai and my LinkedIn profile. Thank you for your kind words, Sri Ramya. Where we have to go for certification, Pooja? Okay, I'll just share both the links one after the other. Give me 1 second. Huh? I'll just share. Yes. So either you could have registered through this one, or you must have registered through this. just check once. You'll see from which link you must have registered. That is why we had requested you to go to your email. Your emails are the source of truth. They will actually give you the correct link from where you must have registered. But ideally, these are the links from where you must have registered. Yeah. All right. Satyanarayan, it's your call. You can keep it. You can let know that you are part of a soft session based on soft skills and working on that. So it's perfectly your prerogative at the end of the day. Perfect. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and thank you for posting your questions. I hope you all enjoyed the session. We'll have more such sessions in the meantime. Abhi, yes. What is your concern? I'd be happy to take that. Have I not taken any concern? I think Abhi, yeah. If I could, and I think the man who could has already dropped off. But yes, thank you, Satyanarayan. Thank you, Priyanshi. All in good sense, all in good banter. Yeah, Abhi, perfect. Understood, Pooja. Thank you again. All right, guys. Join Sai and LinkedIn. That's perfect. That's perfect to hear, Pooja. Thank you, Tony Stark. The pleasure is all mine. Uh, and yes, Mednet at Delhi. Mednet at Delhi. Is it the one behind the Ames roundabout, Satyanarayan, or is it the one ASI hospital? Okay. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Kalkaji. Yeah, yeah. It's near Kalkaji. Yes. Understood. Thank you everyone for joining in on Friday evening. Hope you have a great week ahead. Hope you have a fantastic weekend as well. And if you're following IPL, then have fun watching the next set of matches as you move on towards the end. Thank you again for joining in. I hope to see you in more of our sessions here at Scalers Academy and Data Science programs. All are free to register, free to attend, have fun and understand the concepts if you like. And if you want to be a part of our paid curriculum to upskill and also to get good placements in just like our paid learners, we're happy to have you there as well and happy to contribute in whatever skilling you might have. Thank you. Looking forward to stay connected. We'll be joining Scalar soon to avail bachelor's or master's. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye bye. Likewise, Susanna. Thank you so much. Satyanarayan, pleasure is all mine. Happy to see you there as well. Sri Ramya. Likewise. Thank you. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week ahead. Cheers. Bye bye.